Okay, so we've waited 2 years for Frank Lampard to be back in the dressing room. Today was his first game. It's finished 1-0 to Wolves. Definitely not the result we wanted. Did I expect it? Probably yes. Today's game, it just did not go to plan at all. We were expecting fireworks, we were expecting passion, and I think we got passion from Frank on the sidelines. I don't think that permeated into the squad at all. I really, really don't think it did. I think when you look at the players out there today, there were plenty of passengers out there. And what we're going to do today in this video is go through the performance, analyze what happened, look at the formation, look at some of the worst moments, there are plenty more bad moments than there are good, and then try to come up with some positives to figure out what's going on with our club at the moment, because quite frankly, it's not looking good, and it doesn't really seem like the league is going to get any better. So let's get straight into this and discuss the formation. So what we were looking at today is a 4-3-3, and I don't think you'll hear many Chelsea fans, and I certainly won't disagree, that a 4-3-3 is something that suits the squad that we have. Is it the best way to get results? I'm not sure. To be honest with you, we seem to do better with 5 at the back, but also we haven't scored goals. I think I looked at the stats before we're recording this, and we've had 5 games without a goal out of the last 10, and that's just simply not good enough. So he needed to change something, and fair play to Frankie, he's come in and he's come up with some of his own ideas. And I mean, I don't blame him. We needed to change it. So what he did today was start off, he had Kepa in goal, Cucurella on the left, Koulibaly next to him with Wesley Fofana on the right-hand side of defence, and then Reece James as a right-back. Then you had Enzo in the middle with Kovacic and Gallagher. And then you had João Felix on the left, Raheem Sterling on the right, and Kai Havertz up front. So when you look to that and you look to the setup that we had, I don't really think many Chelsea fans before the game were incredibly annoyed at the setup. I think some of the team selection is something that we could question, and we will rightly do so in a second. But I think overall the setup was good. What I think we learned today is a few things. Let's go into the bads. So Cucurella, I mean, he just has not been good enough for Chelsea. He just hasn't done it at all. And I really worry now about how he's going to regain any confidence at all. Because you look at what happened with Potter. Potter took him out of the firing line, and he did so intentionally because of how badly he was performing. And I don't think any Chelsea fan that was watching the games or seeing him play would disagree with that decision. And really, he should be shielded more than he even is now. But saying that, what was Frank to do? You know, Chilwell has been considerably injury prone for a while now. And I think you've got to take him out of the firing line before this massive game on Wednesday against Real Madrid. So Cucurella comes in, and really you're hoping that he steps up. Did he do that? Absolutely not. He had one of the worst games I think I've seen him play. And we've had a few of those bad performances. I mean, giving the ball away, rash challenges. I mean, let's go into the goal now. I mean, that goal that they scored today is completely Cucurella's fault. It's as simple as that. The ball comes in, it loops over the defence. Koulibaly is stuck. I mean, he's tracking a man, and Cucurella has followed the same man. They've sandwiched him, and he's just left the guy free at the far post. And Nunes smacks it in. It's a brilliant goal. I mean, for as much as I want to blame Kepa for some of the bad saves and performances this season, and I don't think that he's the goalkeeper for the future of Chelsea, I don't really think that you can blame him for that finish. And I think really the sole blame has to go on Cucurella. So again, you know, it's just simply not good enough. He's not defending well enough. He's certainly not attacking at all. And so really you've got to start questioning what's going on there. And we'll talk about board failures later on, but paying the amount of money that we paid for him, I feel sorry for the guy, but it really is a failure of the board that they paid that amount of money, and that he's having to start games for Chelsea because he's just not good enough, which is mental when you think about it. When Man City, Man United, other clubs were in for him this summer, and you just look at what a fall from grace he has had, and it's just been significant, hasn't it? So I think that's sort of writing on the wall for Cucurella. I really don't know what he does from here. What's scary is that obviously we've got contracts now that seem to go on forever, and I don't think we're going to clear him out. But he wasn't good enough today, and I think really he was the example for all of the other players to see, how bad the game was, and it's such a shame because he just has not been good enough. So moving on from Cucurella, let's go on to another bad point, and it's just Havertz. And Havertz is just not a striker, and it's as simple as that. And I just find it so baffling that manager upon manager starts him as a number 9, and he's just not qualified for it. He can't finish. He hasn't got the physicality of a number 9. And really now you just got to think, what is the best course of action with Kai? I think, if a buy-in came in for him right now and paid, 50, 60 million, which quite frankly in this current form would be way over the odds, I think we've got to bite the hand off. It's as simple as that. So it's such a shame what has happened with him. He just is not a number 9 quality for Chelsea, and I just lament that we keep playing him in that position. So it's just not good enough. He shouldn't be starting there. Frank should be taking him out. And I mean, really, you've got to start questioning where his best position actually is. I mean, I've heard people talking that he's a number 10. Does he have the close control for that? Does he have the physical guard? Does he have the pass? I'm not sure. And so then you've got to think, does he fit in as a number 8 in midfield? I don't know either. And we've got plenty of options there as well. So really, really poor. And I'm really worried about Kai and his future now, just because I just can't see him coming back from where he is right now. Another thing that I just saw today that has just been constant really throughout the season has been a lack of movement in the final third. And I mean that in terms of just general movement around the outside of the box, but also about bodies actually in there. We just don't seem to be getting anyone in there. I mean, the amount of times we cross the ball from left and right, and Reece put in some absolutely brilliant balls today. When Chilwell came on, he also flashed a couple across the box. And you just sat there thinking as a fan, like, these chances are golden opportunities. And I just didn't really get the sense that anyone was going to be in there and score them. And that's, been endemic through the entire season. We haven't really seen anyone do that. So it's just incredibly concerning, really, when you're making, the chances, when you're playing the ball around in the right way and you still can't get the ball in the net. It's just not good enough. And really that's personnel. And again, it's another board failure for me in that they've missed the opportunity to get a striker in that can finish those chances. And I mean, even looking at someone like a Broja, I just miss him so much. And I think that he's the type of player that would bust a gut to get into those positions. But again, the thing is with us is it can't be reliant on just one player. You look at other functional teams that are up there at the top of the league at the moment, and they share goals around, but they also get bodies in the box. Watching City play, and you see how many touches they have in the box and the amount of players that they physically get in there. It just makes a complete difference, a complete difference. So it's another area that just needs to be coached. And I don't think you can really blame Frank Lampard for not coaching that. He's had one real training session so far this year since he's come in. So I don't think you can blame him, but that's an area that he's going to have to work on really, really hard. I think you saw it in moments at the start of the game where we were pushing bodies forward and had a bit of pace about us. But yeah, just not good enough. And then talking about, lack of ability and sort of lack of guile in the final third, I think Raheem had a really poor game today. He got taken off about 67 minutes, and I think that was a warranted substitution, to be honest with you. He made just really simple errors, passes that were going loose. And to be fair to him, there were passes going loose everywhere. Again, just another player that was just not good enough. And players like Gallagher, who I really, really rate, I think so highly of. And I know that when he leaves Chelsea inevitably in the summer, which is just bound to happen now, to be honest with you, because we need to raise some money because we're not going to get European football. He's going to be great for someone else. But I mean, today, again, coming into a team, he hasn't really started that much recently at all. He's always been coming off the bench, and it's so difficult to get a run of form there. But again, just loose passes, and also just loose touches, which is just concerning. But I think with Gallagher, he's a player that will come good. He just needs a run of games. But is that going to come in, a midfield that is highly, highly competitive with people like Loftus-Cheek waiting to come in, Sicario waiting to come in. And you look at the players that weren't even on the bench today, Ziyech of this world, and Kante wasn't even on the bench today. And you just think, Ziyech, I agree, shouldn't be there. He's leaving the club in the summer. Fair enough. Kante rested for the Real Madrid game, but we really could have used him today. I'm pretty depressed about that result, to be fair. And I, when you're looking for positives after another loss to a team in the bottom half of the table who are fighting for their lives, it's just really difficult to find any positives. But I think one for me was getting Aubameyang on the pitch. I don't rate him at all. I don't think he should be playing for Chelsea. And quite frankly, as I've said many times, he's a Barcelona player waiting to happen. So while I don't think he's the guy, I think getting a number 9 on the pitch is necessary. And so, we need to play him. I mean, we really don't have any other options. You can't really commandeer any other players in the squad to play that area anymore. It's clear that Havertz isn't a striker. João Felix definitely isn't. He's a winger at best. Quality, really, really, really good player, great touches, but not a striker. And today, again, against, a physical side, he was also another player that really just sort of got battered, to be fair. So that was a big shame. But we're talking about positives, and I'm giving you more negatives. It's kind of how this game went, to be fair. So yeah, getting a striker on was good. And really, the only other positives I can really take from this now is that this is the start of a rebuild, and we needed it. I've been in the stadium. I booed Potter personally, and his time was up. And I'm glad they made the decision. It was interesting. I saw on Twitter that they'd been speaking to Frank Lampard for a while, and I'm glad because it needed to happen. But really now we're doing a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild. The club has gone through an incredible amount of turmoil over the past 18 months. And to be honest with you, that turmoil and instability from Roman leaving and the new guys coming in has only really been exacerbated by their changes and the decisions that they've made. Last summer, I think we can look back and just say is an unmitigated failure. The signings that they've made, the amount of money that they spent without football people being there, it's just obvious. And I think really when we're talking now about failures on the pitch and the players, I think today is one of those times where you blame the players because it's just not good enough. But ultimately, the overarching failure of this season has clearly been the board. They haven't signed the right manager, which everyone thought he was going to be, and he had a great record at Brighton, but not a championship winning manager and maybe not even a Champions League manager. So they've made that mistake and they've got that wrong. And then the players, I mean, I thought Koulibaly played okay today, but he hasn't been tearing up any trees, And then also it's just like the lack of signings, like not signing a striker, not really signing a goalkeeper maybe as well. And then overloading particular areas. I mean, the amount of wingers we have on, the bench we had playing today, and really maybe we should have been looking at reinforcements up front. And I know they've gone for them, but we haven't signed the players that we need to. And I think today was one of those games that you just sort of got to go and say, players not good enough, board not good enough. I don't think you can blame Frank at all. And he'll get he has a lot of credit in the bank with Chelsea fans, and rightly so. He should have time to summarise this performance and summarise how I'm feeling today. I think every game that goes past, I just realised that this season is a complete write-off. And, I'm just gutted that we've just wasted a year, and every other Chelsea fan right now is just counting the days until the season is over, which is just a really sorry state of affairs, because trust me, I'm going to be counting the days until the season starts in the summer. The season's done. The only thing we can get is the Champions League, and we've got an unbelievably difficult route to the final, let alone winning it. So, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that we get something out of that game against Real on Wednesday. But, I don't really believe that we will. And if we do, we've still got a really, really difficult game, second leg, and then another semi-final against a very tough team after that. So, like I said, season very much looking over, not feeling especially confident for the Champions League game. I'm going to be backing him 100%. I don't really get this whole thing about him not being qualified anymore. I think, quite frankly, we just needed someone to replace the backroom staff that Potter left behind. They didn't want to be there. Frank comes in, brings some passion, brings some guile, and also just brings something about the Chelsea DNA, which is about winning, which we need, because, quite frankly, these losses have been too easy. And today was another easy loss, and another one where the players just haven't turned up. But you can't really blame someone that's had one session to come in and make a change. So yeah, I mean, doom and gloom. I mean, it doesn't, this isn't good. This isn't a good moment for Chelsea, and it's hard to record a video like this when, this is the start of my new channel, and, thanks to all of you that have watched this video and my others. It's really difficult. It's an interesting one though, because this is a moment now where we are in complete transition, and we've been in transition for a while. And I don't see us really coming out of that for, in, the next 9 games, maybe even the next season. So I think really, as Chelsea fans, we've just got to sort of strap in and wait for the ride that we're going to go on, because it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for the video today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Let me know what you thought of the game. I think for me, I'd love to know what you thought of particular performances. Let me know what you thought of Cucurella and Kai. I mean, I want to also know, do you think Kai's a striker? Because for me, the answer is pretty clear. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, if you like the new format of the Chelsea videos and my new channel, then yeah, I'd love it if you subscribed. It would be absolutely amazing. Really appreciate all my subscribers so far, and here's to many more videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.